the shir of Yudalef. V'atam. Chavre, we now understand that there's two channels in Bia, Nefesh Ruach and Neshama. Nefesh Ruach is the shirish of Chochmah Chitonius, which is Machaya Elamis in the eighth of Helen Vesta Beneva Nivra. Therefore, Maya Avayir, you Avayir, a Malach Sav Avayir, it's Nivra. Tayyid is different because Chochmah La Pasu and Neshama, but there's a problem. Neshama feeds Nefesh Ruach. So make up your mind. So the Rebbe says in effect that there's two inyanim in Neshama. There is, as if you were to say, the Pnimius of Neshama, which is Makabel the Torah, and the Chitzenius of Neshama, which is Mashpiyat the Nefesh Ruach. So the Chitzenius of Neshama is also Alakus. But when it goes into Neshama and Nefesh Ruach, it's going to be hidden. The Pnimius of Neshama, which is Makabel Torah, never goes into Nefesh Ruach. So it remains Alakus, even in Asiyah. That's how you have to understand it. Okay? Vatam. Let's read a bit of it, then we'll talk. Vatam, the reason is, Mishum de Chabad, the Asiyah, the Bechinas Neshama. Because Chabad of Asiyah, even the level of Neshama, which is L'chayra di Alakus of Asiyah. However, Hu Mokar Achayis de Chabad, the Nefesh Ruach, what they're saying. It's later going to create and give life to the Chabad of Nefesh Ruach. So right now it's Neshama to Alakus. But it's going to go into Nefesh Ruach and become hidden, become separated from the source. And in the Eir Neshama, going into the Eir Nefesh Ruach, it's going to create an Eif V'yesh Me'ayin. Imtel the same with all the things that are born as byproducts of it. Ad Seif. Ha'asiyah till the end of Asiyah, which means the physical worlds. Okay? So maybe, it may be true target into the Eir Neshama, which is Machaya Eir Nefesh Ruach. But that's, the, so to speak, the Chitzenis of Eir Neshama. It's going to go into Eir Nefesh Ruach and become Eir Nefesh Ruach sized. Or a-sized. Aval, says the Rebbe, Chabad halacha v'tamein. The Chabad of Torah, even though it's only Shabbat Malchus the B'riyah v'Yitzira, it's only in Malchus the B'riyah and Yitzira. I understand. Malchus is lower than Chochmah. We're now saying that the Neshama of Chochmah is less than the Chabad of the Neshama of Malchus. Why? Because we're talking about different qualitative dimensions within the world. The Neshama of Chochmah is the aspect of Neshama which is going to feed Nefesh Ruach. So it may be higher in the map, but it's a more chitzeniistic dimension. The Neshama, no, it's two different madrigas of Neshama. It's two different aspects of Neshama. The Neshama, which is going to be the carrier of Torah, it may be Malchus, but it's that level of Neshama which is never going to go into Nefesh Ruach. So it doesn't matter where it is in Ishtashlis, it's always going to be pneumistic. In other words, what I was telling you all the time is very clearly indicated here. Says Rabbi Aval Chabad halachas b'tamein, as opposed to Chabad halachas b'tamein. Shabbat Malchus the B'riyah Tzira, even though it's in Malchus, but it's Inyan HaChochma b'tikkun Partzufi Atzilus. This Chochma is an expression of the corrected Partzufim of Atzilus, Shabahan Tluin Kol Tamiyah Mitzvah, which is the source of mitzvahs and the reasons for mitzvahs. It comes straight from Atzilus, and it doesn't change from Atzilus. Mitzvahs say Behei Chasodim. The positive mitzvahs are the 5 Chasodim. And the negative mitzvahs and the gvuras. For this reason, even though when they come down into Nevraim, even though they may be in Malchus B'riyah Yitzira, but they are the Bechinas Neshama Davke. They're the Neshama aspect of Malchus B'riyah Yitzira. But which part of the Neshama? The part of the Neshama that's not going to go into Nefesh Ruach. It's going to remain godliness and Biyah. Shumi Kelim Datzilas, it's going to Kelim Datzilas. And not Nefesh Ruach. Now the Rebbe goes back again. He asks backwards. He repeats himself. Even though there's Neshama in Chabad the B'riyah Yitzira, and that Neshama in Chabad B'riyah Yitzira, Shagava made Malasan, is, if you look at it superficially, it's higher on the map. Al Bechinas Malchus the B'riyah Yitzira the Neshama, over the idea that in Malchus the B'riyah Yitzira you have Neshama. If you look at the Neshama of Chabad, the Neshama of Malchus, which is higher, obviously Chabad is higher. Says the Rebbe, don't be deceived. If that's an aspect of Neshama which is going to feed Nefesh Ruach, it doesn't matter that it's higher, because it's going to go into Helam Hester. If the Neshama of Malchus is the aspect of Neshama which is going to be Makabel the Teda, not going to be in Helam and Nefesh Ruach, it doesn't matter that it's lower, it's godliness. That's what the Rebbe is trying to teach us. You understand? Nevertheless, Hain, the Chabad of Neshama of Biyah, is Moker LeChabad, the B'riyah Yitzira, shall Nefesh Ruach Sheina Malachim. That Chabad of Neshama is going to feed and sustain Nefesh Ruach of the Malachim. Right? And the Torah is only in Malchus, but it doesn't matter, because Torah, which is in Malchus, is the channel of Neshama, which is not mislabish and Nefesh Ruach, remains Elokus even in Biyah. But now we have a different question. And the question is, if Neshamas and Malachim come from Chabad of Neshama, how do they become Nefesh Ruach? Neshamas and Malachim are rooted in Neshama, right? Just like you say, the whole world starts in the Torah. Torah is Atzilus. Yet, when the world is going to come into the lower world, it's going to be Helam, correct? So we ask the same question. The source of a Neshama and a Malach is Neshama of Chabad. So how does it become Nefesh Ruach? So the answer is as follows. Like Kashmir, it's not a question. The Be'emes, HaMalachim v'Neshamas. Malachim and Neshamas, they may have started out in the Chabad of Neshama, but Einon Ella Mitipa. They come from a seed. Hanam Shechaz Mechabad, the Neshama, which comes from the Chabad of the Neshama, Liyaseid Zah to the Yiseid of Zah, and Venitan Lenuk, and then it goes into Malchus. Umisham Yatzah Bechinus later where they're born. See here, he says, here's an interesting word. Sure, the Shadish of the Shabbos Malachim is Alakus, but they're born. And when they're born, they're new Metzias, they're Nefesh Ruach. The Pnimius of the Neshama may be the Malach is Neshama, but the way they come down is B'derech Ibur V'Leida. So the Tipa comes from the Neshama, but when they're born, it's Nefesh Ruach. Now before, we gave the Mashal for Tipa as a Maila. On Kufnan Zayin Amar Aleph, we gave the Mashal of Tipa to explain how a mitzvah is the same exact thing in Atzilus as it is in Asiyah. Here he's bringing Tipa Tzachasar. It may be true that the Neshama and the Malach starts out as Neshama, but since they're born, the way they come out the pale after their birth, they're Nefesh Ruach, they're not Neshama. Okay? Ki afim tim tzaloimer. Because you could even say, Shenivru me'aras hakem v'nuk v'datzilus. Forget about the fact that Neshamas are Mushish and the Neshama of Biyah. They're Mushish and Kelim of Atzilus. Still, Hareim Yerdim V'nasim Neshama. They descended from Atzilus and they changed to become a Neshama. And now they're going to change more and go from being a Neshama to becoming Nefesh Ruach. The Makam Neshamas is from Kelim. The Makam Lachmas is from Kelim. And in the language of our Maimeh, we're going to say it, it's Chiteni Tzachtenus HaKelim. In Atzilus, Chiteni Kelim is a Lakus. It's going to come into Biyah, it's going to be Neshama. And then it's going to change even more when it's Mislabish, because it goes through a Leida, becomes Nefesh Ruach. It says the Rebbe, Aval Atzmos Chabad, the Neshama, but the Torah, which is the essence of Chabad of the Neshama. In other words, the part of the Neshama which does not go into Nefesh Ruach, but rather the pneumistic aspect of the Neshama, which carries Chochmei Law, which is Ein Sof. Mispashet Bevav Ktzavis, the Zun, it expands in the 6 meters of Zah and Malchus. V'sham, and over there, Himshiv Tzitz Mishnah. In the world of Yetzirah, there would be the Shiksanim of Mishnah or Gemara. And in the world of Brit, there would be the Mishnah of Gemara. So the Vart is, it's all, this is all very technical, it's language. And now you have to start understanding it. He's saying there's 2 inyanim in the Neshama. There's a Neshama which changes, and the Neshama which changes the Chachma Dein Sof. The Neshama which changes Nefesh Ruach is the Mechus Chadash. The Neshama which comes to Chachmei Law, although there's a Tzimtzum, Chachmei Law is Ein Sof. The Neshama is a Mugbal. But since this is Alakus, even the way Torah is Nimshach Lamata, it continues to be Alakus. Okay?